Greetings, my fellow from sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3-Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Sunday, March 16th, 2025. This is episode 1820. No judge rules the executive, and radical judge rules to fund sex change operation. Before I proceed, you can follow me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Looky Luck number 3, Looky Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or the Looky Luck Roman number 3 podcast. Furthermore, if there's any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use Decorum. You can send an email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. And if you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Looky Luck number 3. If not, hit me Steemit and follow me there too at LL3, that's the number 3, -podcast. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm just a little bit mellowed out right now. Do a couple of chores here and there. Looks like some things have been happening, which I don't endorse in good faith. But there's nothing new under the sun, right? Got folks living in fear, don't know what to do, don't know how to adapt, don't understand natural law, but they want the state to take care of them. And many folks out there rather be faction slaves and sentinels. They gotta take away our rights. You were born with them. What the hell is your problem? I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. That's absurd. Just folks gotta really contemplate thoroughly. And I was like looking through Censor.news, Zero Hedge. Business leaders call for 8 million migrants to replace dead Ukrainians. Yep. Keep that war going so they can wipe out and replace them. All hail to the Club of Rome, right? What does Zelensky have to say about it? He's another bend over Bob to that establishment. Some folks say he's my hero. My condolences. There's a lot of stuff going on. All the world's a stage. 100% fed up. The U.S. aid demolition derby. And as you can hear, school board walks out on parents' outrage over graphic LGBTQ book given to kindergarten. Interesting. Well, it's funny because during that time they'll say, "Oh yeah, they're a potential terrorist." Happening in New York, of all places. And the school board walked out. Well, that USA money didn't help, right? Allegedly speaking. Rainbow Parade. Yeah. It's funny because even people, according to this, 2 men in full bondage fetish, fear holding hands. Always believe the rights of individuals, but don't coerce it or, conscript it down people's throats. Get rid of this mind control propaganda as usual. Yeah, so what school was this happened at? Happened in New York. Didn't say exactly where, right? Oh, Penfield Central School District in New York. Good. Sometimes you gotta call these people out. That's why I'm not too crazy about government schools. They want to condition us. They try to do it to me, but they failed. Got an F minus. Bunch of clowns as usual, but always steps and patterns. That's why I never buy their rhetoric. Question. You gotta obey every adult in this school. Okay, so the adult goes, "Hey, I want to find where's so-and-so. I want to blow their brains out." "Oh, right over there, that room, 123. Okay, thank you." My goodness. So I am what I am, folks. A maverick. So it's interesting there from that 100% fed up. Let's check this out here. What's on this video? Oops, hold on. It's from Twitter, by the way. Hopefully you can pick this up. But I'm not gonna, I'm just like browsing around, see what they say here. Max it out. I don't got that big fancy, well, it happened on the 12th. Oh, February? Good grief. Hold on here. I guess it wants to be.
We are here at our board meeting, conducting our business. You guys it's our board meeting.
No, what a bunch of wussies. That's fun as Screwball walks out. What a bunch of cowards. I'm sorry. They love to shit up, but hate receiving, right? Minds of criminals. But during Merrick Garland's time, it's, oh yeah, they're potential terrorists. Get the FBI involved. Yeah, think about that, my friends. They're walking out. What a bunch of wussies. And what's bad over there in New York, they don't have a
with a packed room, standing room only back there.
They don't even have a recall. Yeah, so I'm not really too impressed. But it is comical when you think about it. Bunch of these weak, pathetic fools, right? Oh, well, nothing new under the sun. Like I say, man, just keep drilling them, ridicule them, because they've earned it. Absolutely. They have earned it. Try to have us wear cowboys around our necks, think we're walking antimatter. No way, no how. And, of course, news target, Germany, left-wing government pushes for mass migration of voting rights for non-citizens, sparking outrage. Yep, they want that. They want that Club of Rome to be fully controlled in the European Union. Just dismantle them, give the big middle finger, any commandeering style. Trump defies court order, deports hundreds of Tren Aragua gang members under wartime authority. This will coincide with one of the articles I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to add this to the memo for sure on yours news. And Trump defies court order, deports hundreds of Tren Aragua gang members under wartime authority. With Glamboy Ruby on the front. Trump administration confirmed the expulsion of dangerous Venezuelan gang members despite a federal judge's directive to halt deportation flights and return planes mid-air. By your news media newsroom, Trump administration has rejected the order from District Judge James Bowsberg, who attempted to block the deportation of Tren Aragua gang members under the Alien Enemies Act of 1778. Bowsberg, an Obama-appointed judge, issued an emergency ruling to stop deportation flights and instructed federal officials to reverse aircraft already en route. According to ABC News, Bowsberg also ordered the Trump administration to immediately turn around 2 planes carrying non-citizens if they are covered by his order, including one en route to El Salvador. Well, too late, right? That potentially took off during a break in the court hearings. Bowsberg stated, "You shall inform your clients of this immediately. Any plane containing these folks is not going to take off is in the air needs to be returned to the United States," he added. However, that's accomplished turn around the plane or not embarking anyone on the plane. This is something that you need to make sure is complied with immediately. In defiance of the ruling, the Trump administration proceeded with the deportation. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed that the gang members have been expelled before the judge's order could be enforced. "We have sent 2 dangerous top MS-13 leaders plus 21 of his most wanted back to face justice in El Salvador." So it's like more of an extradition treaty they have with them. Also, as promised by POTUS, President of the United States, we sent over 250 alien enemy members of Tren de Aragua, which El Salvador has agreed to hold in their very good jails at a fair price that will also save our taxpayer dollars. President Nayib Bukele is not only the strongest security leader in our region, he's also a great friend of the U.S. Thank you, Rubio posted. Pam Bondi also responded to Balsberg's ruling, saying tonight a D.C. trial judge supported Tren de Aragua terrorists over the safety of Americans. TDA is represented by the ACLU. This order disregards well-established authority regarding President Trump's power and puts the public and law enforcement at risk. The Department of Justice is undeterred in its efforts to work with the White House, the Department of Homeland Security, and all of our partners to stop this invasion and make America safe again. The White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt reinforced the administration's position in an interview with Maria Bartiromo, confirming that nearly 300 gang members will remain detained abroad. The president signed a proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act against Tren de Aragua members who have invaded our country. These are the most violent, heinous criminal monsters you could ever imagine. They have taken the lives of innocent American women like Jocelyn Nungare and Laken Riley. The president invoked this authority to deport nearly 300 of them who are now in El Salvador, where they will be behind bars where they belong rather than roaming freely in American communities. It is a massive win for the American public, and that is going to save lives, Leavitt said. Despite Judge Balsberg's attempt to intervene, the Trump administration has stated it will not return to deported gang members and remains committed to enforcing the Alien Enemies Act to safeguard American citizens. It's interesting there because when you see this, it's nothing really new because they even did it to even some of the Cuban refugees that came in, the ones that were like criminal elements and so forth, to deport them back. And here's interesting here because when you start looking at this, we'll check it right here. I think I got it on my PDF because I hate when you put ads and all that good stuff. They came from the newamerican.com, which, coincide with the John Birch Society. One moment. Oh, didn't work. Crap. Okay, no problem. So I'm going to do the PDF format here. And this was came out the 13th to be exact. Written by Joe Wolverton II, JD, of course. It says, it's called No Rules, No Judges Rule, No Judge Rules the Executive, the Constitution crushes the myth of judicial supremacy. Another day, another federal judge fancying himself king. In a stunning display of judicial overreach, a federal judge in California has attempted to override the constitutional authority of the President of the United States. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge William Alsup, sitting in San Francisco, ordered 6 executive agencies to reinstate thousands of employees recently dismissed as part of President Donald Trump's lawful efforts to restore accountability and efficiency within the federal workforce. It's interesting. Like I said, I'll just keep on reading here. All right, and let me see here. The judge's ruling purports to bind the Departments of Defense, Veteran Affairs, Agriculture, Energy, Interior, and the Treasury, as if single unelected jurists can dictate the internal operation of the executive branch. Let's make one thing absolutely clear. No single federal judge, not or even a panel of them, has the constitutional authority to override, countermand, or nullify a lawful order issued by a president of the United States directed at officers within the executive branch. That assertion is not up for debate. It is a matter of constitutional design, historical precedent, and the plain language of the founding charter. Interesting, okay? So there may be two different articles here, but it's what's going on here with this deportation under the Alien Enemies Act. And they say that if El Salvador will take them because they do have crimes against them, it is relevant. There's a treaty for that too. So I'll continue on. The Constitution does not create three equal branches of government. It creates three distinct branches. Each supreme has its own sphere. The executive branch is not a mere administrative errand boy of the judiciary. It is a co-equal power. And in many ways gives its unitary and energetic structure, was designed to be the most vigorous defender of the people's liberty against both legislative overreach and judicial arrogance. But today, thanks to the lethal combination of legal ignorance, civic apathy, and judicial hubris, we've come to believe that any rope oligarch sitting on a federal bench can simply wave a gavel and paralyze the president. That is constitutional hearsay. Let's set the record straight. The executive power is vested in the president, not shared with judges. Article 2, Section 1 is crystal clear. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. That's not a suggestion or even a partial grant. That's an exclusive vesting. All executive authority flows from that single office. Every officer in every executive agency, from the Secretary of State to a clerk at the Department of Agriculture, serves at the pleasure of the president and operates under his constitutional authority. No federal judge, not even the entire Supreme Court, can legally issue a binding directive to an executive order contrary to the president's lawful order. That would violate the structural principle of separation of powers. If an executive officer disobeys the president's favor of a court's injunction, he is insubordinate, not obedient. The judiciary is not a supervisory board over the executive. Nowhere in Article 3, it is the federal judiciary given supervisory authority over the executive branch. The court have one core function: to decide cases and controversies properly brought before them. They don't rule the government. They interpret the law in the context of specific disputes between parties. That's it. That's all. Judicial orders have no power unless they are backed by execution. But who executes federal orders? The executive branch. If a court order contradicts an executive order within the president's lawful domain, who prevails? Constitutionally, the answer is obvious: the executive, because the judge has neither the sword nor the authority to wield it. Alexander Hamilton himself made that distinction clear in Federalist Papers number 78, stating that the judiciary has no influence over either the sword or the purse. Historical practice proves the point. Consider how George Washington governed. Would the federal courts have dared issue an injunction against his orders? Would Thomas Jefferson have allowed a single judge to block his executive decisions? In fact, when Chief Justice John Marshall tried to expand judicial supremacy in Marbury versus Madison, Jefferson flatly rejected the notion that the courts could bind the executives in all matters. He wrote, "To consider the judges as the ultimate arbiters of all constitutional question is a very dangerous doctrine indeed. It would place us under the despotism of an oligarchy." Abraham Lincoln, though not yet president when the Supreme Court issued its famous Dred Scott versus Sanford decision in 1857, immediately recognized the constitutional danger it posed. He refused to accept the idea that a court ruling, no matter how sweeping, could fix the policy of an entire nation. As he later declared, if the policy of the government upon vital question affecting the whole people is to be irrevocably fixed by a decision of the Supreme Court, the people will have ceased to be their own rulers. Exactly. I have to agree with him on that, even though I have tons of reservations towards Lincoln, but I'll proceed. The Constitution's defense is the executive's duty. One of the most Grotesque modern lies is the idea if that judge says stop, the entire executive branch must sit down and obey. Nonsense. The president takes an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, not to serve as the court's errand boy. That means if a court issues an unconstitutional order or presumed to seize executive authority, the president not only may refuse to comply, he is bound by oath to do so. Defending the separation of powers isn't optional. It is the chief executive's constitutional obligation. Judicial tyranny must be rejected. Let's be blunt. What we are seeing today isn't the rule of law. It rules by lawless judges. A rogue judge issues a nationwide injunction against a lawful presidential directive, and the media and bureaucrats fall in line as though a new commandment has descended from Mount Sinai. It hasn't. It's legal fiction and dangerous fiction at that. No judge can lawfully tell the president how to direct his subordinates. No judge can lawfully command the executive branch. And no judge can lawfully override a presidential order unless that order violates a constitutional prohibition. And even then, only within the scope of a specific case involving actual litigants. We've allowed the judiciary to transgress its constitutional bounds, and now we're reaping the consequences. Lawless courts acting like kings, and spineless executives surrender their rightful authority. That must end. Conclusion. Obey the Constitution, not the robes. A single federal judge cannot override a presidential order directed to the executive branch, not constitutionally, not historically, and not logically. The president is not subordinate to the judiciary, and no serious student of American government should pretend otherwise. Judicial supremacy is a myth, a dangerous, corrosive, unconstitutional myth, and it's time we call it what it is: tyranny by black robe. If liberty to survive, we must assert the original design. The president must govern the executive branch. The courts must stick to their cases, and the people must remember that their freedom doesn't rest on judicial permission slip. The rest on constitutional fidelity. Pretty self-explanatory when you think about it. Judges have no ruling, even though there's a different case, but it's relevant what has happened with the MS-13 and Tren to Aragua. The judge has nothing to say. Okay? It's that simple. They corroborate it, the authorities that corroborate it, put them in, they ship them out. Hey, if this judge, what's that clown's judge name? Bosberg? You know what? Have them hang out with him. He wants these people, have them live in their place, his domain. See how he really feels about it. He's null and void with all due respect. And these judges, it's happening everywhere, even at a state, local level. Nothing new under the sun. They believe they're above everybody, and it's unacceptable. So I gotta be very honest. There's things I'm gonna have my reservations with Donald Trump, but there's other times, hey, what's right is right. So you have to look at that angle. But very interesting indeed. So we're gonna do one more here from law enforcement today. Radical liberal judge rules taxpayers to fund sex change operation for baby murdering inmate. This came out today by Pat Droney. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana. Another radical in a black robe has inserted himself into a culture wars after he ordered the Indiana Department of Correction to provide a sex reassignment surgery to a monster who identified as a woman serving prison sentence for murdering an 11-year-old baby, the Gateway Pundit reports. Inmate Jonathan Richardson is now pretending to be a woman named Autumn Cordolani. Okay. I'm sorry about that. And let me see here. Cordolani, he was convicted in 2001 for strangling his then wife's infant daughter to death. In 2023, the American Civil Liberties Union filed a suit against the Indiana Department of Corrections to seeking a sex change operation on behalf of Richardson, who 3 years earlier decided he was a woman. There's currently a law in Indiana banning taxpayer-funded sex reassignment surgery. There's a tweet from Jonathan Needler on this. You can see it for yourself with calling Malcolm a piece of crap. Okay, so it's Richard Young made that decision. He was appointed by Bill Clinton. Say taxpayers must pay for a murderous sex change. These psychopath judges need to be put in the insane asylum. Yeah, can you blame them? Look at that weasel. Okay, I'm going to continue on here. Fox News Digital reported that according to the ACLU, which was absent during the government mandate lockdowns and vaccine mandates, the law violates the 8th Amendment prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. What? On March 5th, the Clinton appointee, Judge Richard Young, agreed with the ACLU and ordered the Indiana taxpayers to pay Richardson surgery. The court ordered that the commissioner of the Indiana Department of Correction should preliminarily enjoin to take all reasonable actions to secure Miss Cordelleone or Richardson's gender-affirming surgery at an earliest opportunity. Young wrote, Miss Cordelleone Richardson seeks to extend the injunction for the second time for reasons that follow his motion to renew or extend a preliminary injunction is granted. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita disagrees, writing convicted murderers don't get to demand that taxpayers foot the bill for expensive and controversial sex change operations. It lacks all common sense. We won't stop defending our state's ban on using taxpayer funds to provide sex change surgeries to prisoners. And this is what Vivek Ramaswamy has to say on this Twitter. Let's check this out.
My objection to it is what? I'm a business guy. So here's what I'll say.
What does business have to do with it?
Well, I'll tell you, because I got to look at the economics of it. So this whole case, as I understand it, is about using taxpayer money to cut off the balls of an inmate. And my objection to it is, I think you'd probably find a lot of other inmates willing to do it pro bono. So it just seems like a waste of money.
In the general population.
In the general population, so this guy's clearly mentally ill in some way, all right?
No.
But people get upset when I say this, right? So if you think, this is a little controversial, but I believe it. If you believe your gender doesn't match your biological sex, in most cases, that means you suffer from a mental health disorder. Mm-hmm. Now, the irony is the legal argument they use to say taxpayers have to pay for it is that the Americans with Disabilities Act qualifies them. And that's considered a trans victory. So sometimes it's transphobic to say that it's a mental health disorder. Sometimes it's transphobic to say it's not a mental health disorder because it has to be covered by the ADA when you pay for it. I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways.
Interesting there. Hope you can hear that. If not, I will definitely put the links on there of this ordeal, of this article. Check it out. Moreover, a psychologist who evaluates the baby murderer says Richardson is not a suitable candidate for sex change surgery. Psychologist Kesley Beers wrote that she doesn't believe Richardson has legitimate gender dysphoria, but instead he has an antisocial personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. She also wrote that the display an established pattern of attention-seeking behavior. Young, who apparently has more experience in the psychiatry world than an actual psychologist, disagreed with her evaluation. In summary, the court finds that Dr. Beer's report does not present a significant factual development that will cause it to reconsider its grant injunctive release as to Ms. Cordelleone's 8th Amendment claim, he wrote. Well, here's the thing. This is one thing I gotta say. The baby killer. The inmates probably would like to take him out. It looks like he may got death threats, maybe sexually abused by them, probably someone's bitch. I don't know. The excuse is transfer this person into a woman's prison. And there's women in there are mothers too. So they have to put them in solitary confinement. Put them in solitude. Can't really be around the general public. But one thing I know for sure, hey, you're a baby murdering inmate, that's not a privilege. You don't ever have those rights. You fund the bill, not the taxpayers. People in Indiana should tell this person where to go. And it's not going around being transphobe either, folks. That's just how I see things. Do it on your own dime, no one else's. That's just my view. Well, I gotta say that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. You can send an email to ll3-podcast@proton.me. I will leave the footnotes, including the Trump defies the courts, so people read it for themselves. And plus, if you want to donate, you go to paypal.me or cash.app/look3. Hit me at Steemit. Follow me there at LL3-Podcast. You can find me on multiple sites, iHeartRadio, YouTube, which they're like a Willian, Rumble, BitChute, Brighteon, social, Brighteon.com, Bastion, Brighteon.io. Let's give you a good amount. Find me, don't be shy. All right? Once again, thank you for your time. But always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.